Coming up next on This Week in Torrance, Black Friday brings Torrance shoppers out in the early morning hours. We'll take you there.
Then you're invited to a mixer that allows businesses with similar cultural backgrounds to mingle.
Plus, if you're in the market for the perfect Christmas tree, we'll tell you what to look for.
And runners make a preemptive strike against holiday pounds at the annual Turkey Trot. These stories and much more are just seconds away.
Your local news starts right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Week in Torrance. I'm Chun.
And I'm Ben McCain. Thanks for joining us. Here are your top stories. 226 million Americans shopped on Black Friday, and a portion of those bargain hunters were waiting in line for and filling up stores right here in Torrance. Reporter Jacqueline Quinn has this story.
It's a new record, at least according to early reports that this year's after Thanksgiving shopping sales peaked at over $52 billion. That's 16% up from $45 billion last year. Here in Torrance, shoppers lined up especially early since many retailers opened up earlier than they ever had before.
I got in line about 8:10. I was right near, I got all the way to PetSmart, and I got in about 9:05, but then I had to go to the electronics. That took about an hour and a half.
Toys R Us on Hawthorne Boulevard opened its doors up at 9 p.m., beating most other stores by 3 hours. Shoppers stood in line that wrapped around the building, hoping to find those Black Friday bargains. But Randy Gelbaum was able to finish her Thanksgiving dinner and still get in on those deals.
We drove by, and I said, the line's not that bad. So I said, I dropped my husband and the kids off, and I came here by myself. It's long and tiring, but I would do it again.
What's the first thing you're going to get when you're walking through those doors?
Really, believe it or not, diapers.
However, the line at the toy retailer was nothing compared to the one at Best Buy's, where people had been camping out for days. Customers like David Yoshida considers camping out here his own family tradition.
Yeah, all of us right here. Spend it here at Best Buy.
And you're going to do this again next year?
Yep, every year. We'll be here again.
And Yoshida's dedication paid off. He was not only one of the first customers in the store, but was one of the few to get a ticket for an exclusive deal.
What everybody's after is the Sharp 42-inch LCD for $199.
Is it the late night owls or the early birds that actually get the specials like this Xbox here for $199? Some of the shoppers I spoke with here say it's all about strategy.
We were doing shifts.
What's your advice for people who are new to this?
Bring warm clothes. It's very cold. 2 pairs of pants and some earmuffs.
Others like Alan Kala says going as a big group helps.
We just ate Thanksgiving and we just came already on the line trying to cut in as much as we can. 3? Yeah, each one, like one of us, we still got cousins like buying each one.
Kala's cousin Alex says they got closer to opening time. He felt slightly anxious.
Everybody from behind me were pushing, so that's why it's not a good feeling when someone's pushing, you might get trampled.
But having to deal with the massive crowds and skipping out on the holiday dinner has Hernandez rethinking his plans.
Next year, I'm not going for Black Friday, probably going online.
It's not clear yet if the big discounts or the earlier store hours contributed to the sales record, but some shoppers we spoke with outside of Target say their motivation was impacted by the country's financial outlook.
With the economy the way it is, it was worth looking in for deals.
Across the country, there were many reports of injuries and arrests associated with Black Friday shopping, but a spokesperson for the Torrance Police Department says they did not specifically get any calls having to do with the event here. For CitiCABLE 3, I'm Jacqueline Quinn.
Thanks, Jacqueline. Americans balked at the early shopping hours for this year's Black Friday, but those hours may become the norm since spending was up more than 6% this year.
Black Friday shopping is becoming a tradition as well as an athletic event. Another tradition combines the holidays with a healthy dose of sporting competition, and it got some folks up early on Thanksgiving. Reporter Jacqueline Quinn takes us to the annual Turkey Trot.
Gobble, gobble.
The country's oldest trot has been running in Buffalo, New York since 1896, and for people like Deanna Garcia, the 3-mile foot race here has also become a long-standing family tradition.
10 years ago, it's my husband pushing my son in the jogger. He was 1 year old. He's 11 years old now, and so he's running with his son for the first time, the Turkey Trot.
But before the racers could even start warming up, there was a sudden interruption.
We're here at our 32nd annual turkey trot here, and we're lucky the weather's great, and today we had some unique events. We had a flash mob.
The group was organized by the city's Centennial Committee to mark Torrance's 100th anniversary, but it looks like the mayor didn't know about the last surprise.
You just got flash mob.
I just got flash mob, but they did a great job. There was 96 of them, and it was a lot of fun.
And after a quick warm-up, it was time for the actual race.
The only way that I'm going to start this run today is with a cup of coffee in hand, but for a lot of the people that I spoke with this morning, they say their motivation was to burn off a lot of calories before their big feast.
Get to eat more later on, yes.
So I can go for that second plate of food.
Yeah.
That's the motivation.
The first place winners of the race had a few different reasons to run. David Cardona finished the race in 13 minutes and 48 seconds.
I just came back to defend my title. I won it last year.
For Caroline Hogard, an international student from Sweden, it was an unexpected win.
We just take this for fun, so it wasn't like we were really preparing. We went shopping yesterday. That was our preparing, but it wasn't too bad. We went out pretty slow, and then I just picked it up a little in the end.
We found one trotter who says this year actually marks the beginning of a new tradition for his family.
This is my first year, but I'm excited to do it, next year and continue the tradition with him.
But others like Deanna, who's a veteran of this race, says it's a tradition that actually takes a little bit more planning than some may realize.
I was up at 4 a.m. just so I could be here. Everything's ready for us now.
Nearly 4,000 runners came out for this year's Turkey Trot, which is average for the event, and proceeds from the run will benefit after-school programs in the Torrance Unified School District. For This Week in Torrance, I'm Jacqueline Quinn.
Thank you, Jacqueline. And you might get a workout trying to chase down this pre-Christmas tradition when Santa makes an early visit through the streets of Torrance. Well, police escorts are usually reserved for VIPs, and this guy certainly qualifies. Thanks to the Torrance Police Officers Association, Rudolph and the rest of the reindeers came out to spread holiday cheer. But seeing Santa and getting the chance to tell him in person exactly what is on their Christmas list was the point for many kids. And a few of them probably wanted to reassure St. Nick that they have been nice and not naughty this year. Residents have lots of chances to meet the big man in the red suit. Be sure to check the city's website for Santa's route through Torrance for the month of December.
Torrance is participating in a long-standing national tradition. Each year, the finalists of the National Civic League's All-America City Award are asked to submit quilt squares representing something special about their communities. The squares are then stitched together into a quilt which tours the country, visiting each finalist town, city, county, or region for several days. This year's 24-city tour, which started in Alaska, made its way to Torrance the day before Thanksgiving, where the quilt was put on display at the Torrance Art Museum. We spoke to Fran Fulton, a member of the Torrance delegation who traveled to Kansas City in June for the All-America City Award, and says the quilt symbolizes the unity of all of the communities who participated.
But it was a really great experience. We got to know a lot of people from different cities all over the country. We got to talk with each other and share some of the challenges that we encounter in our cities, as well as some of the successes that we have. And some best practices were shared, and I think everyone felt very uplifted and encouraged about things that we can do as people and as communities to come together. And again, I think the quilt symbolizes that and really just kind of capitalizes it and carries on that message and that feeling that we all felt by participating in Kansas City.
Torrance's patch of fabric includes a beach scene which was created by the South Bay Quilters Guild. Torrance is number 5 on the quilt tour.
A city landmark kicked off the season with a recent tree lighting. The Faces of Riviera Elementary School helped light up the event at the Torrance Marriott. Students sang Christmas songs and entertained the crowd, which included Mayor Frank Scotto. The beautifully lit tree at the Torrance Marriott was the popular spot of the night for picture taking on hotel grounds.
And we have some good news to share. South High School's marching band and color guard took home a big honor earlier this month. The local high school earned the title of 2011 California State Band Champions at the Southern California Judging Association Championships in Huntington Beach. The school also won in the following categories: High General Effect, High Music, High Auxiliary, and High Percussion Band. Band director Tom King and his coaching staff worked with the talented group of 187 students to present their award-winning field show titled Where the Wild Things Are. Congratulations to the students of South High.
Up next, we'll show you how to trade your old holiday lights for something greener.
Plus, we'll tell you how to find the perfect Christmas tree.
Hands can do incredible things. Now they can even help save a life with hands-only CPR. If you see an adult suddenly collapse, just call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of the chest until help arrives. Learn more at handsonlycpr.org.
This financial advisor is being accused of committing one of the largest investment frauds in the history of the United States.
I guess we're not going to Aspen. That's fine. You see, I like tennis balls. He likes insider trading. So he's going to jail and I'm going to a shelter. And no, they're not the same thing. Shelters are for good pets that want to be adopted. Jails are for criminals. I've done nothing. Uh-oh. Okay, I stole a cheeseburger once. I'm a dog.
Be free. Nice, Dad. Nice, Dad. Nice, Dad.
Charles!
Nice, Dad.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are.